Welcome into Arsenal Report, and huge news this morning as Besiktas have made an offer for Leandro Trossard of around 22 million euros. Now, that seems like a pretty steep price, and I would imagine if this offer is true, it's quite a bit lower than that. 22 million euros is a lot for a 30-year-old on what are enhanced wages at this point, considering the extension he signed this year. It's not actually an extension, but just a little bit of a salary bump, which was a very odd move on Arsenal's front. Now, if Kai Havertz and Bukayo Saka were not injured, Martin Odegaard was not injured, if Gabriel Jesus was not injured, Arsenal wouldn't bat an eye. This would be a done deal already. We'd be reporting a confirmed transfer. But the issue is, with those injuries and letting Trossard go, you leave yourself a little bit shorter than you might want to, especially considering the form that Gabriel Martinelli is in. The feeling that Madueke is clearly a lot stronger off the right and Trossard's more off the left. We don't know the future of Gabriel Jesus. You see two of those names on this list we're going to talk about today. But if that offer is true, it's a little bit too good to let go. 22 million euros for a player with 2 years left on his deal on pretty high wages. We're not going to get a better offer ever again. Now, I don't think Arsenal are going to accept this, but the Turkish transfer window does not close until September 12th. We know that the transfer window in the top 5 leagues, most of Europe, closed obviously last weekend, actually on Monday. But with another 8 days to go, if Arsenal were to get a positive report on Saka and Havertz, and it looks like Saka's back after the international break, Havertz back early October, Jesus doesn't look positive as of right now, but whatever it might be, maybe Arsenal consider letting Trossard go. There aren't, with the enhancement of Max Dowman, another name on the list, with the trust in Ethan Nwaneri to have an impact off the wings as well, we could see Trossard leave. Let's keep an eye on this transfer, but interesting to see that there is still a lot of interest in Trossard, even with the English transfer window closing. Now, there's very exciting news that Max Dowman has been included in the Arsenal A list for the Champions League squad. Now, a lot of people have been saying all over the place that he can't play until he's 16 in the Champions League. I've read the rules back and front. I have spoken to lawyers who read contracts like this back and front. They agree with me that the way that the rules read, there's no reason that Max Dowman can't play at 15 years old, which would, of course, make him the youngest debutant in the Champions League. At the moment, that is Youssef Moukoko, who those who remember for Dortmund, at 16 years old and 18 days. Now, if Max Dowman couldn't play in the Champions League, there's no reason that Arsenal would include him in their A list and take away another spot, because they can re-register their list for the knockout stages after the league stage. But the league stage is up in December. Max Dowman doesn't turn 16 until December 31st. To me, this means that Max Dowman is certainly eligible to play. There's no way Arsenal don't know the rules. And the reports have been very conflicting. Now, I think Max Dowman's eligible to play, and not only eligible to play, I think he'll become the youngest player against Athletic Club in 2 weeks, which is that match is on September 16th. If not then, I think it'll be against Olympiacos on October 1st at home. So I'd expect Max Dowman to make an appearance as a 15-year-old and then likely also become the youngest goal scorer in Champions League history when we host that Kazakhstani club at the end of the league stage. So very exciting news there for Max Dowman. Some less exciting news for Arsenal fans is Gabriel Jesus was not included in the Champions League squad. So that means that first half, the league stage, he's not included. To me, what that means is he's not going to be fit before January. If he was, they would have included him in the Champions League squad. That means we're without Jesus until probably the January transfer window, which means there's no chance of him making a move this January. The only way he was going to make a move this January was he comes back in October, looks fit enough, maybe not in and around the squad enough that Arsenal need him, but a club may be interested in him. Now, for me, the value of Gabriel Jesus has never been lower. I'd like to just get him back fit and playing because, listen, our left wing is still a bit of a question mark. I know we brought in Eze, but we don't see Eze as a winger. We see him more as a 10. And Gabriel Jesus is the perfect kind of player who can play off of Gyökeres because he can pop up in those little spaces behind Gyökeres when Gyökeres makes those run into the channels. He can when Gyökeres makes that run into the left channel, Jesus can come back a little bit more centrally. He can, make magic happen in and around the edges of the box. The type of player we need to break down blocks. I think people forget that 22-23 season when Jesus was so good, it was because he was the type of player who can break down low and mid blocks with creative little passes and flicks and whatnot, which we don't necessarily have from a lot of the other players in our team. Now, a player who used to provide some of that, Gabriel Martinelli, we're about to talk about, isn't doing that so much anymore. Trossard isn't that type of player. Now, Eze definitely is, and I think Eze is going to do a lot of what I just said, but it'd be nice to get Jesus back and up and fit soon enough. But as I said, not included in the Champions League squad, it appears we will not see him until at least December, but maybe January at this point, which is a little bit of a disappointment. And finally, Gabriel Martinelli. We've spoken a lot about him this summer. And from what I know, there were tons of offers for Gabriel Martinelli this summer, but the highest one coming in the 35 million euro range. This is a player who at 22, 23 years old has been not great over the last couple of years, but has showed promise. And because Arsenal are such a weak selling club, the fact that we can't maximize his potential nor his transfer, value is a huge issue. This is a huge season for Arsenal and Gabriel Martinelli because even if he's not a key part, we need to put him out there in places where he can succeed. We need to put him out there, and when he's out there, he needs to be scoring goals and making an impact. Now, if that means playing him against a little bit lower league opposition, like in the League Cup, in the FA Cup, in the Champions League, he's been very solid even when he's not been at his best in the Premier League. That may be the role we need from Martinelli. He needs to have double-digit goals, and he needs to have 15-plus goal and assist season total, probably around 20. Then you're looking at selling him next summer in the 50 to 60 million range and getting what his value is. Listen, I don't think he is a Premier League star. I don't think that's where his future is. But I can promise you, if he was at Real Betis, think about what Antony was doing at Real Betis last year when he went there. The leagues like the Spanish League, the Italian League, Gabriel Martinelli would be an absolute phenom there. He reminds me of Ademola Lookman in a lot of ways, the way that he absolutely thrived at Atalanta after not really succeeding in the Premier League. We need to be able to recoup a solid transfer fee on Gabriel Martinelli next season, and that all comes with maximizing him in this team. And the best way to maximize him is putting him up against opposition that he can succeed against. And that means not running him out there against Liverpool. It means running him out there against Port Vale, against Athletic Club, against Olympiacos, maybe against Nottingham Forest, because we can get at them in the transition. But that, to me, is the key this year for Arsenal and Gabriel Martinelli, maximizing that value for next year. This is Arsenal Report, daily videos on Arsenal. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.